Hi, I'm Lauren.
And I'm Callie.
And this is the Book Common Room podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Book Common Room podcast.
Another.
Give me another. Said nobody. Just
Not
kidding.
yet.
I'm totally joking. Wow, she's so optimistic. But yeah, we are very excited to be here again because we love talking about stories and we can finally talk about the spoilers of Project Hail Mary.
I know. This is one of those books where I don't know what's a spoiler and what's not a spoiler.
Same.
Because everything gets released, like, time's interesting. So I'm like, I'm just going to stay away.
Yeah. So, but here we go, diving in and not being afraid to share spoilers. Callie, tell us, how did you like this book?
I loved it. Oh, I thought it was so good. When I first started reading it, I was like, okay, this is so fun. This is cool. I was a little grossed out when he was talking about the catheter.
Oh, at the very beginning.
Page. I was like, what am I getting myself into?
I was laughing, but I also was like squeezing my legs.
Me too. I was like, oh.
I was like, I cannot imagine what that would feel like for a man, but I know things as a woman that would be horrible.
Like, so when that happened, I went, oh no, what am I getting myself into? So I was honestly a little nervous.
He like yanks it out. It was like a golf ball thing. There's a streak of blood on the floor. Yeah, that part, I know. I totally know what you meant.
Yes.
I was like squeamish from the get-go.
So I was really nervous. But then I feel like it did introduce his humor pretty well, though.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, here we go. We're going full science. No, like,
turning back.
No turning back. Here we go. And so I was like kind of into it and like learning about all the characters. But as soon as Rocky was introduced, all in. I was all in.
Oh.
And as a I will always remember when they, like, as their relationship is developing and they start they start learning each other's languages. And at one point he's like, this is my buddy over here. I just started crying. I was like, he needs to live.
Oh, yeah.
Rocky. Like, we need to keep Rocky safe.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care about Earth anymore.
Yeah, I know, same. I know. All bets are off. Save Rocky. I did the same thing. Oh,
I loved it. And then, yeah. So that's like
love him.
Very surface level. I just loved it. Yes. What did you think? Just kind of surface level before we get into themes.
Yeah, surface level. Yeah, I listened to the audiobook, which I so recommend because it's so funny. Like, the book already is funny and like, haha. Yeah. But when you listen to it, I feel like audiobooks immerse you in a really good way into the book.
Especially if you find a really good narrator.
Yeah. So, again, Roy Porter, he was the voice of this, did so good. Yeah. Did so great on all the different voices. The accents, loved Rocky's interpretation, the music and tones that they used.
Yeah, and like when eventually he learns the language, you can still hear the sound in the background. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, so it made it easy for you to follow if you weren't reading the book. And like I said last time, I've always been kind of nervous to approach sci-fi just because I feel like I don't have the mental stamina to stick with it. But turns out you don't need it. No. You don't need it. It's not the most important part of the book. It's definitely an interesting part of the book.
Yes.
And definitely what's the necessary ingredients to save the world. But do you have to understand everything? No. To be able to enjoy the story.
Yeah.
And yeah, same with Callie. I will die for Rocky.
Yes.
I would die for Rocky. And his planet for sure. But that's kind of surface level.
When he was talking about how, because Grace's crew, they died, right?
Yeah.
And so, but when Rocky was talking about how his crew died and he didn't know how or why, and he was the only one left, and he didn't know why he was the only one left, I was like, oh my gosh.
I know.
I love him.
Radiation, man. Radiation. And that was the other thing, too, was I just loved that Ryland Grace was the one who didn't want to go. Was the least heroic.
He was a coward.
Until the end, obviously. But like he but But the thing is, he found his courage through Rocky.
He did. He had to go save his buddy.
Which is crazy because he was
sent
like,
the Beatles off, and then he was going to go get his buddy.
Which is crazy. I wonder if it's because on a collective scale, he's having to save all of humanity. But then with Rocky, he felt this like deep, because he was saving Earth. He saved Earth by sending the Beatles.
Yeah.
But in getting back home though, like, which was something that he wanted to do at the very beginning, he sacrificed for like this one person or this one creature. But to him, I think
they called him a person.
He should be a person. Yeah. That's why he was like, he can't be an it, so he's Rocky.
Yeah.
But I loved that aspect of the story, because all the heroic people didn't survive the coma.
Or they died researching and studying.
Yeah.
What were they called again?
The astrophage? Or,
yes, the astrophage.
The fuel and like the thing that was,
they blew up.
So I liked that aspect of the story, was that it was just someone who didn't really want to be there, yes. But he had all the skills to be able to survive and help her survive.
Well, because at his heart, he was a good person.
Yeah.
Like
and Rocky says that too.
Yeah.
You're good.
You're good. He has a good heart. He's a coward, but he has a good heart.
Yeah.
And that's why he was probably the perfect person to have been on this mission.
Yeah.
Because any of the other people would have probably been like, oh, Rocky will just figure it out. I'm going to leave him.
Yeah.
But since he loved and cared for this creature, this alien thinks, talks different than you do, he still cared.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so sweet. That was probably my favorite part of the whole story, was when Grace was like trying to figure out the makeup of Rocky.
Yes.
And he discovered that the molecules, Rocky and Grace's, like at the very, very basic, were the same. So they probably billions and billions and billions and billions of years ago came from the same thing.
Yeah.
And I loved that.
Yeah.
Like he found he found common ground still, even though they were different species.
Completely
from
different.
A different solar system.
Yeah. My favorite was when he started to feel comforted that Rocky would watch him sleep.
I know.
Because he's like, I'll observe.
Yeah.
And but then when he was like, can I observe you eat and sleep? And Rocky's like, you don't want to see this, man.
It's a little weird.
It's a little weird. And when it was explaining it, I was like, what is happening right now? But that was really fun. But surface level, I really enjoyed the type of character that they chose to be the main character. And it sucked you in. I think it really sucked you in building, like what you said, Rocky. Once Rocky was involved, I think everybody was hooked.
Yeah.
But leading into that, I was hooked because he was figuring out who he was. He didn't know his name yet.
Yeah.
And then like the whole aspect that he was like, I'm an old man. Or like, I'm an older man, but I'm not married. But why do I know these things about kids? And he's like, oh no. Like he was worried that he was like some kind of like
creepo.
Yeah, pedophile. Yeah. And then he was like, I'm a teacher, thank goodness.
And he's like, I know all this science. How do I know this?
Or like when he said fudge. And he was like, who am I? Like, why do I say it? And it's because he's a teacher. Because he has to make sure he like filters himself.
It's just ingrained in him to not swear.
So I thought that was, and like, not that he doesn't swear, but it's like, you know, he swears though when it's dire, which is funny because he's a teacher. So I really loved that. And I loved how the book ended with him still being a teacher.
I know. That was so sweet.
And like this whole planet took care of him.
Do you think he'll go back to Earth?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't know.
See, okay, here's a opinion that I have that, if you disagree with, that's totally fair. I think, so he's a coward, right? And then he has his heroic act. I think part of him is still kind of a coward in the end.
Yeah.
How he just like easily kind of went back to what he knows to be a teacher, and he's just okay to stay.
Yeah. He
doesn't need to, because he's worried like, oh, if I go back to Earth, our war started, and like, because they destroyed like whole environments.
Yeah.
Like how
statues will be erected in your name. That kind of, they did that for him, like, as a hero. So there's, like, a lot of...
like, did they actually do that?
Yeah.
Or, like, he saved Earth, but, like, what is left of it, really?
Yeah.
But on Rocky's planet, it's safe.
Yeah.
So he's just going to stay there.
Yeah. Maybe. The thing is, though, like, I think of all those classic heroic movies, they always all go back to what they were doing before.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's
like,
true.
Like the Hobbits. They just were like, they saved the world, and they're like, let's go back to the Shire.
That's true.
We'll go back to our, like, Hobbit holes, you know? But I love that, though, because it's like, they're just normal people. And, but the thing is, like, your experiences you can never really come back from, I guess. So maybe for him, there was nothing really left for Earth.
That's true, because he didn't have, like, a family to go back to.
No, and it was just these 12-year-olds, and, like, they had grown up, and, like...
It had been 26 years, right?
Yeah, and so... And I think he said that even. He was like, they're going to be, like, in their 40s or something. But, right?
Yeah.
But I just... Anyways, I was just intrigued by that factor, too, because... I would agree that there's some part of him where it's like, it is safer. Yeah. Like, that's like the safer route, more convenient route.
I probably would just stay.
Yeah. I'm like, going back to Earth, I probably might die trying to get back.
Yep, literally.
So,
well, and then it's like, he's got
and who am I even going back? Yeah. Like, who am I even going back to? And like, Rocky helped save Earth. So it was like,
he needed an engineer.
Yeah.
Rocky was his engineer.
Yeah. So I loved those aspects of the book. I'm going to talk about some of the core things that I feel like we can pull from the book, and then like some questions for you to dive into the more deep stuff that you might want to mention.
I like it.
But I think some of the themes that I liked about this, that it explores. And I feel like this might be a theme across any book that does like space exploration, but there's like always the loneliness factor, like isolation, memory, and like identity. Like he's like figuring out who he is, which is just so fun because he's like this older teacher, and he's like, I mean, I go through identity crises all the time, clearly, but
we saw it in the Boreas episode.
But like, also like trying to explore identity through memory, because like he didn't know he was a coward. He thought he was a hero.
It's true.
And then once he found out, he was like, oh, like
nice.
He's like, maybe I don't do this. Like, which is so weird because that didn't cross his mind until he was like, oh shoot, like I didn't want to be here.
He literally, they had to drag him kicking and screaming.
Yeah. He was crying.
Yeah.
And like,
put him in jail.
Yeah. And poor Strat like felt bad, but she's like, okay, Strat was the perfect person for this though, because they needed someone that was kind of cold in that way.
Well, yeah, and like throw all morals and ethics just out in the window.
Well, because she has to solve this. That is a hard job. Like I still like Strat.
I did too.
But she was like, too bad. I'm sorry.
You have to go.
Yeah, and then like I really liked the idea of like sacrifice, responsibility, and the book. Oh, I feel like we've talked about this before, but the book does a great job of giving high stakes survival, but like super like human moments throughout, where I'm like, I don't know what I would have done, like in this situation. But what were like moments throughout the book that surprised you, like emotionally?
Me.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting when they were destroying, was it Antarctica?
The Arctic,
the Arctic, when they were destroying the Arctic, and they had the scientist who had like his whole life was how to save the Arctic and how to like make sure global warming doesn't happen, and they're going against everything. And he breaks down crying. That surprised me, and I actually really liked that, because I think he didn't really go into it all that much, but I like how he introduced the idea of, what are you willing to sacrifice to save the world? Yeah. Are we willing? Because the world is saved, but it's going to be hot now. They destroyed the Arctic.
Yeah.
And they're heating up the world. So it's like, how much, I liked that. I liked the added, we're not just saving the world and everything's going to be fine in the end. It's we have to make real sacrifices to actually do it.
Yeah.
And even Strat and her forcing him, that's pretty like messed up.
Yeah. But it's like their only option.
It's their only option. I understand like why she did it, but
consent is gone.
It's gone. And I did like how she, like, all differences between countries and cultures, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Like differences right now they don't matter.
Yeah, because we're all humans and we're all going to die.
We're all going to die. We need to save the world. I feel like culture is very important, and I love talking about the differences, but I did like the fact that when it really matters,
all prejudices aside,
it's gone.
You got to learn how to work together.
We got to work together, and we got to go.
Yeah.
I don't care that they were your enemy last week. Yeah. They're not today.
Yeah. I loved that. But I think that was a very interesting part of the book was there's like ethics, but then there are like there's a problem that like usurps all of that, like all the ethical morals that you probably would want to have within the science community. Because like, what's more important right now, it's like keeping people alive. Yes. But I feel like that's always the thing. It's like whenever there's a huge problem, when you're trying to solve it, always creates all these other little problems. And yes, I'm curious what it would have been like if he did go back.
Yeah, I don't know. Or did he just like died? Yeah.
But I thought that was good. That was like a surprising moment was like his grappling with ethics. I like that you said that. Yes. I'm trying to think like what parts were surprising for me. I guess the coward part. Yeah. Like that was I was like, oh, like interesting that they chose that this guy survived. Like he's like, whatever genes I have allowed me to survive this coma. Whereas all these other geniuses who wanted to be here did not. Yeah. So that was kind of surprising.
The other aspect of it that made me laugh was how clueless he was about how important he was to Strat. Yeah. Like everyone thought that they were like in a relationship and like that's why she kept him with
because they were like
with her everywhere.
I like
and he's like, no.
I got to that part. I was like listening to the audiobook out loud outside of my apartment at that part. And it was like talking and I was like, shh. I live in this like little neighborhood where kids are playing around and I'm like, I gotta turn this down. This part down, but he was like, what? This is the only reason why you thought I had a purpose? So
but
good.
I kind of liked how clueless he was about all of it. Yeah. And how everyone was like, you're kind of dumb. You're the whole reason that we're here right now. Yeah. And Strat really relies on you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like when Strat would have to consult him about the problem she was dealing with. And he's like,
why are you talking to me?
Yeah, no. And he was like, I don't know how you would deal with that. And she's just like takes a drink, that's how she deals with it. And then the next day she comes up with a solution. And I'm like, dang, she's the right person for the job. Literally. Because I'm like, that's a hard decision big sacrifices are having to be made, like in having to put together a crew of people that would need to die.
Yeah, I know.
But further deepening into the book, what were some themes, quotes that you felt like really summed up your experience?
Yeah, let's see here. I have some quotes. Oh, this is when they're trying to get methane in the atmosphere.
Yes, because if they put carbon dioxide or something, it would
they're trying to heat the earth, basically.
Yeah.
And so
methane was the better source.
Yes. So this is that whole conversation of like ethically, like, is this something that we should do? And Strat and Grace, they're arguing. And she's like giving her logic about why this is fine. And she says, we all have to make sacrifices. If I have to be the world's... Oh, so then he asks like, okay, at the end of this, what's going to happen? And she's like, I'm probably just going to go to jail. Like, I'm going to go to jail. Everyone's going to hate me because I basically ruined the earth. Yeah. Even though like I'm actively saving the earth.
And they hired her to do it.
They hired her to do it. Like I'm still going to be like the person that they're going to just throw in jail. So she says, we all have to make sacrifices. If I have to be the world's whipping boy to secure salvation, then that's my sacrifice to make. You have a strange logic to you, I said. Not really. When the alternative is death to your entire species, things are very easy. No moral dilemmas, no weighing what's best for whom. Just a single-minded focus on getting this project working. Yeah. And then after the conversation's over, it says he buried his face in his hands and cried. So they're like, it has to happen, but it's hard still.
Like she's sending off a crew to die to sacrifice for Earth, but she's going to never be able to like enjoy the Earth that she saved because she has to be the whipping boy.
And then they test on animals too, which is also like ethically like not a good thing that we just don't do that anymore. Yeah. But they brought it back for this. And I did think it was interesting that Grace, he's like, I'm fine with it, but I don't want to see it, which is interesting. He like, there's this level of almost, I feel like that was kind of foreshadowing his cowardice a little bit. Like he's okay with it, but he is too coward to see it. Yeah. Like if he was actually okay with it, he should be able to see it and like realize the consequences of what he's doing. Yeah. But he can't do it. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. I'm trying to think.
I really like those deeper conversations that the book brings up. Oh, keep going.
Yes. Then this is at the very, very end. This is after so Grace has sent off the Beatles and now he's gonna go save Rocky. And he starts tapping on the spaceship and he
fist the bump.
He's like, Rocky, I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm here, buddy. I'm at your hole. And then he goes, Grace question. And then he's just so happy. He's like, you saved me. Anyways, so that's like the context of going on. Rocky's like, I'm very, very happy. And
crying at this part.
And he's like, I sent off the Beatles, but we got to save your ship. Like all of the Tamiba are going to go and eat everything. And
well, that's why his ship was having issues.
Yes, this is true. And so, but Rocky's like, wait, but you won't live if you're with us because we don't have food for you. And they kind of start talking about that. He's like, you can't die. I'm not going to let you die. Rocky's like, we're going to figure this out. He said, arid eat food. We evolve from same life. We use same protein, same chemicals, same sugars. Yep. Must work. Yeah. So I like that. I loved how optimistic Rocky was about it. In the end.
Like the same way that they were like, we have to find a way to save Earth. He's like, we're going to find a way to keep you alive.
And it takes him a while.
And I think also they kind of allude to it a little bit earlier when he was observing Rocky eat. Because he was like, back to the point where it was like at some point, billions of years ago, they started out the same way. Yeah. In their evolution, that even though like it might look different, it's down to the basics. It's the same. We still have the same proteins. Like we still need the same kind of nourishment for our bodies to function. I love that. Yes. Those are such good quotes.
Those are fair quotes.
Mine are like the dumb, funny quotes. And then, I like it. And then there's like one where I was like, this one made me think.
Let's hear it.
But again, like I love that he was a teacher. I loved that they kept the story interesting by like the memories, the ethics for the sake of the greater good. That like, what is that a good thing, or like it's just the necessary thing that we have to do. But the parts that like, because there's a lot of parts that I just laughed out loud. Yes. And one of them was like, when Rocky and him were just so tired and they needed to eat. They were so tired, they were drugged. And they're like, adjust orbit while stupid. Good plan.
I loved how sarcastic Rocky was.
I know.
He was so sassy.
I know. I thought that was so funny. And then something that I thought was funny, because like Grace talks a lot about his experience through being a teacher. And he was like, if I had a nickel for every time I wanted to smack a kid's parents for not teaching them even the most basic things, well, I'd have enough nickels to put in a sock and smack those parents with it. I love that so much. I just thought that was so quirky. And then the quote that made me think, this is like the big quote that I like wrote down in my journal, was like the part when him and Rocky are like trying to figure out why, like Rocky is like 291 years old, right? And like Grace makes the point, like the United States is just barely 250 years old. Like he's older than the United States. Like, why is it that we have the same intelligence? Why is it like, how does that work? And that conversation was very interesting. And so Rocky says, math is not thinking, math is procedure. Memory is not thinking, memory is storage. Thinking is thinking, problem, solution. You and I think same speed. Why? And I was like, oh, like, yeah, this is like, break it down for me. Break it down, Dr. Grace. But it's like this whole concept behind this quote is that we're as smart as evolution makes us. So actually, we're the minimum intelligence needed to ensure we cannot dominate, to ensure we can dominate our planets. And I'm like, whoa. So like thinking about that was very interesting. And they go into more about like gravity and how like gravity is actually like a proponent of intelligence, because it makes you have to work to match your survival. And like places where the gravity isn't as demanding, that intelligence is lower. That was so interesting to me. But the reason I was like having kind of like this, like, maybe we're just going to say these things are Borges moments from now on.
I like it. We're having Borges moments.
But this idea that intelligence is the floor, not the ceiling. You know what I mean? Like, we're like, you think of the smartest people and you're like, but that's the minimum we have to be to like be able to survive. And how intelligence is explored in this book, I really liked, because I don't know, like I said, like I just feel dumb sometimes when I watch sci-fi stuff, or like Grayson will have these YouTube videos that will like break down things within like relativity, and I'm like, I need a vocab lesson for everything you just said. And but in the book, it explores intelligence in a different way with Grace. Like, yeah, he's smart, but it's like he's surviving because he can adapt. He knows how to cooperate for the most part. And especially with Rocky, clearly. And I also love when he's like, he could be so annoying. And then his like willingness to revise his assumptions. Because like he had said, like he's always, and that's what scientists do. And good scientists do this, is that they're able to revise their assumptions because they're like, wait, it's not actually, this isn't how it's working. It's working in a completely different way. And being able to do that is like an intelligent thing to do. It's about how being able to fix the problem. And like I was reading this and I was like, if these are the qualities, I'm so doomed. like it's like super important for you to be able to reason. Like absolute reasoning is super important. And I'm like, I suck at that. And so I'm like reading this, I'm like, glad it was him and not me. But also this idea that human intelligence isn't a miracle. It's a minimum viable product.
Yes.
So that was like my takeaway from this, is like, I need to be better, but also like intelligence is like a survival mechanism. Yeah. Which is crazy to me. I never really thought about it that. I kind of felt like it was more of a what's the word? Recreational. I'm like, intelligence is recreational. It's like a hobby, or like you go to school, you get smarter because some people just want more money, or like also, I don't know, like learnedness. I just like, I've never really had to think of it because of the privileges that I enjoy in my life. I've never really thought about it as much as a survival mechanism and like the bare minimum. It was more of a pursuit and a recreational thing.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways, so that was an interesting takeaway from the book, because I really like how they explored that aspect of it, and the fact, and like why Rocky and him were able to meet where they were. I don't know. So that was something I was thinking about. Loved this book though.
That's so good.
It was really fun. That's kind of it for me.
The only other point that I was gonna make was, I did want to see if you felt the same way, but I did feel like the science was a little too much when I felt like when like the drama mattered more. Oh. Like when you think Rocky's dead and he like comes to and he immediately starts talking about the science of why he passed out. Oh. And I was like, I don't care, where's Rocky? Yeah. And I was like, okay, like I thought the science was awesome, but I do kind of wish that someone was a little brave to be like, okay. Because I do feel like he repeated himself too a couple times. Yeah. To be like, we can cut this part out.
Yeah, we get it. We get it.
We get it. Because by the end, I cared so much about Rocky, which is the point. I didn't care about the science anymore. I was like, literally, it doesn't matter. Yeah. The space went in a weird, like it spun really fast. Yeah. Right. Got it.
The spaceship?
Yes. The spaceship went really fast in circles. And where's Rocky? Rocky's dead. Go get him.
Go get him.
Go get him. So I don't know. That was like literally the only thing that bugged me, was I felt like the science did go a little too far. Yeah. I'm like, this is cool, but I don't care.
No, I felt the same way. I just figured it was because Grace is kind of annoying and that's just how he thinks. So I was like, I guess, but that could be like something we could have toned down, because it was like, we get it. We understand that he thinks in this very specific way. Mm-hmm. But you would think that someone in this situation would like change their thinking pattern because they're worried about Rocky.
Like, if I was in that situation where I almost died and my best friend is probably dead, I'm not going to care about the science.
Like, he would have been alone without Rocky.
Yeah.
Like, and then Rocky would have been alone without him. They were both very, like, isolated. And they like, were companions. Yes. And so I feel like, yeah, it would have been cool in his character growth to show that he's not being so pragmatic.
And, like, there was time after he, like, gets Rocky right and, like, puts him in, like, his environment. And, like, he starts healing. Then he could have had time to reflect. Like, oh, why did this go wrong? Yeah. And, like, what happened? I think it could have been cool to put it in still, but just in a different spot.
I also just love that Rocky saved him.
I know.
Not that, like, far into the book.
No.
Like, he didn't really
he was willing to give up his whole planet for this random alien he meets. Yeah.
And so he, like, sacrificed himself. And then he, like, tried to save Rocky when he saved him and almost killed him.
I know.
He was like, lucky I was healing because he blew off all his scabs. Yeah. Like, I was like, oh my goodness.
Were you tired? You're stupid when you're tired.
You're stupid when you're tired. He was like, humans need 8 hours of sleep every, 24 hours? And it's been 31 hours. And he's like, yeah, you're right.
I did love that. I loved how they, like, Rocky kept Grace humble.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because he was just like, because they both were observing each other. So they're like, it's like,
they're both scientists.
Are you hangry? Kind of like when you say that to your friend. Like, it's like,
I need to eat something.
Like, clearly I'm a better person when I eat and get sleep.
Yes.
Most people are, but it's very prominent for me. And so it's like, I don't know. You have that annoying friend, but they're right. But I felt they did a good job with their relationship.
I love their relationship. That was my favorite part of the book. I thought all of the other stuff was cool and interesting, but in its core, I loved it because of Rocky and Grace's relationship.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that they were, like, trying to save the Earth.
I did too. Crazy. They were like learning about the astrophage and, like, going to different planets and, like, learning about the things and, like, being besties. And I was like, oh yeah, you have to save the world, right?
Yeah. That's right. Like, that's why you're here. Whoops. Which is weird because that is, like, the whole point of the book. But I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I feel like it was good. That's just a good sci-fi. It was a good sci-fi.
It was a good sci-fi.
Put under your belt.
Yes. Okay.
On the bookshelf.
This is true. So next month, we haven't decided. Hold on.
Yes.
Wait. Yes. We should probably decide.
Let's consult. For the month of April, correct?
Yes.
For the month of April. Thank you. Before I even mention the book, we just want to thank you for all of your input.
Yes.
And participation. We've noted the books you guys have mentioned. Lots of great variety. I was
surprised. We got, like, tons of different stuff.
I know. Like, it wasn't just... I was curious to see if our audience kind of all had the same kind of genres that they read. We had very mixed,
vast.
Which was really great. We had, like, murder mystery, we had fantasy, we had classic literature, like...
we had, like, a graphic novel.
To Kill a Mockingbird, a graphic novel. And we got some Gothic literature. And...
After consulting.
mentioning how as things simmer down from the heat of, like, recent movie adaptation of Wuthering Heights... We are going to be reading Wuthering Heights.
I'm so excited. I love this.
We're going to be reading Wuthering Heights. For those that may have audibly went, keep it to yourself. I'm just kidding. I totally understand. But I feel like after I've watched this movie, never have read the book. I have read a Bronte. I have read Jane Eyre before.
We've done Jane Eyre.
And we've done Jane Eyre for this podcast. We are now doing The Sister. And the
second sister,
a lot darker. But I feel like I need to
make it a thing every year. We should just do
a Bronte,
and then next year we could do Anne.
Yeah, we could do Anne, which Anne is a little bit lighter.
We could do Tenet of Wildfell Hall. Well,
maybe not that one.
Well, they're just all dark.
Yeah,
I don't think you can find a Bronte book that is light.
That's true. Well, I read this comment that was like Anne had at least a little bit more of normal characters. I don't know that.
You can get behind her heroine.
Okay.
I
love Jane Eyre though.
Yes.
Love Jane Eyre. Anyways, but we're gonna do Wuthering Heights, you guys. Yeah. So just buckle down and bear with us because it'll be so fun.
It will be fun. I I read this when I was in high school for the first time, and I remember not having a great time. But I since have restarted reading it last year.
Yeah.
And I got distracted with just like podcast books, so I didn't ever finish it. And I loved what I read so far.
So we're gonna read it, and I think it's gonna be interesting to read as adults because I read it when I was 14, and it was like a fever dream when I tried to read it, and because
it's hard.
Yeah.
And everyone sucks.
Yeah, but I think it'll be really interesting to explore that book, the characters, and to also talk about Emily Bronte and like our thoughts on the adaptation.
My timeline back up that I made for Jane Eyre. Yeah, do you remember the timeline I made?
Yes,
I'll bring it back.
Yeah, Patrick, all the siblings, their dynamics, some conspiracy theories, but we're really excited about Wuthering Heights. And thank you so much for joining this episode, you guys.
Yeah, let us know in the comments how you liked Project Hail Mary.
Yep. Yes. And yeah, we're so excited for you guys.
Bye.
Bye.